And Solomon made affinity, he made agreements with Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. At the time, the custom was if you wanted to make friendship between two nations, you would marry one of their daughters. And so Solomon didn't get instruction from the Lord, he was just being wise. He decided he would, with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her to the city of David until he had made an end of building his own house. He made an agreement, customary for kings at the time to do this, to marry the daughter of Pharaoh in the house of the Lord, and the wall of Jerusalem round about. So he was still building. So he made an agreement with Pharaoh to marry her daughter. This has happened in the past, and it probably happens to this very day. But this is why he married Pharaoh's daughter. It was wise, according to the eyes of men, to do this. People too often, they substitute the customs of men instead of following the Torah as given, prescribed by Moses. Remember, he says, I will, as I was with Moses, I will also be with you. Be bold, be strong, for the Lord your God is with you. It's awesome. Isang Punto, Saman Sahe. Our focus is on what Torah actually says, what it says in the Old Testament. This is good stuff. Awesome. We want you to follow the Word of God, because Torah from Genesis never changes when it gets to Revelation. No changes, no amendments. Jesus, my architect, the creator of heaven and earth, he created everything. He doesn't change Torah. He doesn't amend Torah. He keeps it perfectly. He doesn't change a thing. We want you to know it's awesome. We want you to know what it actually says. Today, we're in 1 Kings chapter 3, verse 2. In my Bible, the Thompson Chain Reference Bible, in my opinion, the best study Bible on earth in any language. It's on page 443. Follow along. This is great stuff. Only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord in those days. There was no tabernacle. They were still worship. There was no temple. They were still worshiping in the tabernacle of Moses, and this was acceptable. And I see indications that this could be an option that will take place in the future. Even right now, they could make an agreement to allow a tabernacle, just like Moses had in the wilderness. They could allow that, and to build a tabernacle just like Moses had. And this could be, how long does it take to put up a tent? It doesn't take very long. In the moment that you think not, the arrival of the Son of God can take place. Be ready for the beginning of the millennial reign of Christ. If you're not ready for the millennial reign of Christ, you're not ready at all. though he teaches us, those who endure with me to the end, they shall be saved. We want you to know Isang Punto Sam Sahe. Make no mistake, I serve the Jewish rabbi, the architect, the creator of heaven and earth. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof, everything that is therein. He gives us his very best. He said to his oldest son, there was conflict in the house because of jealousy over money. That's a lot of people, families, they have squabbles and disagreements over money. Same father, but they have different decisions about how the money is going to be spent. And so the oldest son, he was jealous that the youngest son, also known as the prodigal son, you've heard of him, he wasted everything the father gave him on wild women, parties, and all of the money ran out. And then he was in the field and he heard noise when the younger son returned, and he says, what's that noise I hear? Is that a party? You gave him a party. You didn't even give me anything. He was kind of jealous. And the king says, or the father says, all that I have is yours. Are you a child of the king? All that he has is yours. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that Jewish teaching. I don't believe in the Jewish architect, the creator of heaven and earth. Ye shall not enter into my rest. We want you to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that your name must be written down, the Lamb's Book of Life, if you want to participate in the marriage supper of the Lamb. If you want to be a part of the bride of Christ, you have to be holy. You have to act holy. You got to come into full compliance with what Abraham did. Abraham, he was obedient to circumcision before it was ever written. Circumcision was in his testicles, was in his scrotum. Moses was in his seed. Moses didn't give birth to Abraham. Abraham came into compliance with circumcision before it was ever written. I want you to know, it says in Isaiah chapter 1, verse 19 and 20, that those who willingly obey, they receive the best. Are you willingly have you agreed to walk with Messiah to the very end? You will have the very best. But if you don't, if you reject the wisdom and the offer, the sword will follow. Verse 20, it's awesome. I want you to know I love him. I serve him. I've walked with him for 57 years. He's never left me. He's never forsaken me. All of his promises have been true. Not anything in Torah, from Genesis, nothing in the Word of God, from Torah all the way to Revelation, never has fallen to the ground. I love him. I serve the Jewish architect, the creator of heaven and earth. It's awesome. We give it to you freely. Let's get on my moped. I said Isang Punto. Sam and Sahe got to pick up speed. Only the people Verse 2, sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of the Lord in those days. Verse 3, and Solomon loved the Lord, walking in the statutes of his father. He walked in the ways of his father. He was experienced some of David's very best. He walking in the statutes of his father, David his father. Only he sacrificed burnt offerings in high places. That's something that David didn't do, but Moses did. He did what was right in his own eyes. That never works with God. You have to follow Messiah. Don't look to the left or to the right, and you can have the very best. If you willingly agree, you have his best. But if you reject it, the sword of the Lord, it will follow. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 20. Read it for yourself. Isang punto sa mensaje. This is excellent stuff. Awesome. So let's focus on 1 Kings chapter 3. Let's pick up at verse 4. And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon the altar. There were much bloodshed, a lot of sacrifices that were, you remember, to obey is better than sacrifice. Just obey the Lord. It's going to be awesome. Verse 5, in Gibeon the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream at night. The Jewish day always begins at sunset. So the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, ask what I shall give you. Verse 6, and Solomon said, thou hast showed unto your servant David, my father, great mercy. You were awesome to my father, according as he walked before thee in truth and in righteousness and in uprightness of heart with you. You have kept for him this great kindness, that you have given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. At that time it was Solomon was his son. But there was another son, Nathan. You'll remember him. You'll find it interesting that the lineage, the accounting of David's family, the bloodline of David in Matthew, it goes through Solomon. But the book of Luke, it goes through Nathan, the prophet. He was also a son that walked more in the ways of David. It's written down. It's awesome. Never falls to the ground. Verse 7, and now, O Lord my God, you have made your servant king instead of David my father. And I am but a little child. I know not how to come in or to come out. He was humble at this time. Verse 8, and thy servant is in the midst of your people, which you have chosen. And he's never changed his mind. If you mess with Israel, you're messing with the apple of his eye. Can't change it. Never has, never will. It's awesome. Verse 9, give therefore your servant an understanding heart to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this thy so great people, so many people? Who is able to manage them the right way according to your Torah? Verse 11, and God said unto him, because you have asked this thing and has not asked for long, you didn't ask for long life, neither have you asked for riches, you didn't ask for long life or riches, nor have you asked for the death of your enemies because of these things, but you have asked thyself understanding to discern judgment according to Torah. Behold, verse 12, behold, I have done according to your words. Lo, I have given you a wise and an understanding heart, so that there was none like you before you, neither after you any arise like unto you. You're muy inteligente. Are you muy inteligente? If you are, you will follow Torah. It never changes. It never falls to the ground. It's awesome. Verse 13, and I have also given thee that which thou hast not asked. I gave you what you didn't ask for. Sometimes I found that the Lord, I don't have to ask people questions. Sometimes the Lord gives me answers to questions I didn't even ask. My God is awesome. Both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto thee in all of your days. In your whole life, there's not going to be anyone like you in all your days. Verse 14, and thou shalt walk, and it says in verse 14, and if you will walk in my ways to keep my commandments, statutes, and my commandments, Torah, as your father David did walk, then I will give you long life. I will bless you. Verse 15, and Solomon woke up, and behold, it was a dream. He knew he was dreaming. It was a dream from God. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant, Torah, of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. He began to pray, and he began to sacrifice. He got up early to do it, and he said, I don't want to wake up right now. He got up right then and there, right after he knew he had heard from God in a dream, and stood before the ark of the covenant, that is Torah, and offered up burnt offerings, bulls and goats. They all died, some of them died, and offered peace offerings. Peace offerings would require a heave offering and a wave offering. Heave, wave. We've covered this before. All of our content is available on demand, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, all on demand. On demand. You don't have to ask for it. We don't bribe you with silver or gold, but what we have, we give it to you freely. Jesus Christos is La Roca. Awesome. Verse 16. Then there came two women Verse 16, then there came two women that were harlots. They were not virgins, they were harlots. They were for sale. They made their money laying on their back. That's how they made their money. That's how they made their living, on their back. You know, people to this very day, that's how they get what they want. They use sex to get what they want. I wish it weren't so, but it does happen. Isang punto, saman sahe. You have to be wise. Seek the Lord in all of your ways. Don't turn to the left or to the right. Give him your best, and he will take care of the rest. Can you walk before Messiah just one day at a time? It's awesome. Remember, to Mary Magdalene, he said, why do you seek the living among the dead? Some of you seek for the living among the dead. Some are dead. They look good on the outside, but on the inside they're just full of dead bones. Make sure that you don't look good on the outside, but be full of dead bones. Make sure that you give your very best. Awesome. Verse 16, then there came two women that were harlots. They must have been very attractive because that's how they made their money. And stood before him, and the one woman said, O my Lord, I and this woman dwell in one house. We dwell in the same house, same apartment, I suppose, same condo. And I gave birth to a child with her in the same house. Both of us had children in the same house. And it came to pass the third day after the babies were 3 days old, that after I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. She gave birth also. So my child was 3 days older. And we were together. There was no stranger with us, no one else in the house, just us. And save we two in the same house. I don't know if they shared the same bed. I don't know that they did. It doesn't say, but they were in the same house. Verse 19, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. While she was sleeping, she rolled over and suffocated that baby with her own body. Parents, make sure that your children have plenty of room to sleep comfortably. Don't sleep with your children in such a way to stay warm that you might accidentally kill your children by rolling over them and suffocating them. Don't do that. It does happen. I wish it didn't. But in the past, I've encountered people who have had experience with sudden infant death syndrome, where the baby dies at night. I wish I didn't see it, but it does happen. And sometimes there's not anything you can do. They say, why? Why did it happen to me? Probably because there was not enough room for you to sleep without rolling over and suffocating your child. Maybe the child was cold and got close to mom, but there was not adequate space for you to roll over. That's what happened. Don't do that. Make sure you have plenty of room for you and your children, to your child to sleep, so you don't accidentally smother your child to death when the child is just trying to stay warm. Or perhaps the child wanted milk, and she got there and she laid there, and women do that. They give their children milk and they just sleep there, and the child sleeps there sucking the milk from the mama. But something happened because she rolled over and the child died. Verse 19, and this woman's child died in the night because she overlaid it. Maybe the baby was just sucking the mother's breast while she slept. But something happened because she overlaid it, so the child suffocated, perhaps just drinking milk. In verse 20, and she arose at midnight while it was still sleeping, when it was still dark, and took my son from beside me while your handmaid slept. She was being sneaky. She wasn't right. She did it while the woman slept, and laid it in her bosom, in her breast, so she could nurse the baby. It wasn't her baby. It was the baby of the other woman. And laid it, her dead child, in my bosom. So, being sneaky, she took the dead baby and laid it on my nipple. So I would think that that was my baby that died while nursing. Verse 21, and when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, to give morning milk, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my son, which I did hear. It wasn't my child. It wasn't the one that I gave birth to. And the other, verse 22, and the other woman said, nay, but the living child is my son. It wasn't. That's why she was sneaky and laid the dead baby to be nursing from the milk of the mom. But it was not her baby. Her baby, she substituted. She tried to engage in subterfuge. Anytime you try to do things secretly, there's a reason for that. Just be honest with God. It's always going to be awesome. Verse 22, but the other woman said, nay, but the living is my son, and the dead is your son. And this said, no, but the dead one is thy son. They were arguing. They were quarreling with one another. No, but the dead is thy son, and the living is my son. Thus they argued before the king. They were having a disagreement. I can understand that disagreement, can't you? Verse 23, and then said the king, the one says, this my son liveth, and thy son is the dead. And the other said, nay, but thy son is dead, and my son is the living. They didn't agree with one another. Verse 24, and the king said, bring me a sword. And they brought him a sword, a sharp sword, before the king. Is probably like a razor blade. Very sharp, probably like a two-edged sword. And the king, verse 25, and the king said, divide the living child in two, and give half to one and half to the other. Then spake the woman whose the living child was unto the king, for her bowels yearned for her son. She loved her baby. And she said, oh my Lord, give her the living child. Don't hurt that baby. Don't hurt that baby. O my Lord, give her the living child, and no wise slay it. Don't hurt that child. But the other said, let it be neither mine or thine, but divide it, cut it in half. That's a good idea, King. Let's cut the baby in half. Then the king answered and said, give her the living child, and in no way slay, don't kill the baby. She is the mother thereof, because the mother said, don't kill the baby, let her have it. And all Israel, verse 28, and all Israel heard of the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared, they respected the king, for they saw that the wisdom of God was in him to do judgment. He wanted to be honest and upright in all his ways. If you come before the king, it's going to be awesome. I said, Isang Punto, Sel Mensaje. You come to him and he will give you his very best. Awesome. Isang Punto, Sa Mensaje. Not one word of Torah has ever fallen to the ground from Genesis all the way to Revelation. Torah is the Word of God. Jesus fulfilled it perfectly. Didn't amend it, didn't change it. He kept it perfectly. I want you to know he is my architect, the creator of heaven and earth. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. Awesome. He is also my great physician. Some of you right now, you're in the emergency room. Some of you are in the waiting room for somebody else. But some of you, you're in intensive care. You are the one in intensive care. You're the one the doctors don't know what they're going to do. I urge you to go to my great physician. He is my awesome. I know him. I talk to him every single day. My wife and I, we believe in miracles because we believe in God. What he does for us, he will do it for you too. We want you to have his very best. Jesus Christos is La Roca. We give you this blessing. Receive it. It's awesome. If you are a child of God, via con Dios, go do exactly what he's told you to do. Don't turn to the left or to the right. He gives you his very best. And if you are a child of God, I leave this blessing to you. It's awesome. If you are a child of God, receive it. Dios libendageth. It's awesome. He has never left me. He's never forsaken me. All of his promises have come true. Not one has fallen to the ground. I believe in miracles. I believe in God. It's awesome. Trust him. It's awesome. Jaw-dropping. That's my King. Receive his very best.